Hey gang, this is Zealot Naga. Monday night, yes, making a little video cast for you guys to show you what I've been up to. I've been thinking a lot, pushing some code and stuff like that. Just wanted to show you a few features that are being added to the website and how it's going to affect our future, especially regarding deployment. First, I want you to note something. There's some new tabs you can see here. Defense, deployment, and enforcement on your profile pages. Yeah, it's just like my profile page. They've been disabled before. They were there. I just didn't make them visible. Now I made them visible. So what's the deal with those tabs? When the pilot in Ubuntu completes initiation, there's two different routes they can choose to train in. And one route is called the Guardians, and the other one is called the Enforcers. The purpose of the Guardians is to fight, to protect our assets, particularly right now in high-sec where we live, but later in other places. The purpose of Enforcers is actually to be your maximum carnage, DPS, fast ships that are the biggest pain in the butt of other corporations and our enemies or players, wherever we choose to live. There's a reason that I separate those two different groups, and we have a separate discussion why that is. This is a video I made like earlier this year on Guardians and Enforcers, and if you look through a YouTube channel, you can find it. It explains it a little bit more. And so I've been thinking about it, how there's different play styles and there's different things that people do. Basically, the purpose of the Guardians is to pilot more or less slow but very efficient ships that can punch quite hard, and at the same time, if you lose a lot of them, it's not really that big of a deal because they're easy to replace. They're quite inexpensive. So we're talking about your Tech 1 fit battleships like Typhoon and stuff, cheap stuff like energy neutralizers. Those are typical Guardian ships because they basically make threats like pirates under control, because it's not very efficient. It's not very good for pirates to fight a fleet like that, especially if it's a larger fleet, because even if the pirates win, they'll take really heavy losses and they will be really discouraged from coming back again. Enforcers are an entirely different thing. They're more like hunters. They're more like the people who go out there solo hunting and who like really fast ships, especially Minotaur ships. And enforcers are going to be a lot more specialized into the Minotaur, especially gunnery skills, and it will take a more PvP-minded player to play in that division, basically. Now, the third tab, deployment, is for people who want to live in 0-0 or low-sec, wherever we're being deployed at the time, and we're going to get deployed to 0-0 soon here. So both Guardians and Enforcers can be deployed, and I'm keeping those different training paths separate so that you can basically, it will be like the initiation process. There will be different steps that you go through, and once you complete those steps, you can either deploy or you can join either Enforcers or Defenders. There's a lot of benefits in doing it this way. First of all, a lot of the training for one direction as opposed to the other is not really needed. For example, Enforcers will need to be really good with speed and skills like overheating. For Defenders, those skills are not nearly as critical. Or things like managing energy and stuff. For high-speed ships, those things become more important. Especially knowing how to, you can overheat your microwave drive, for example. It'll give you like 25% more speed, which is insane. But for defenders, that's absolutely useless. And also, the skill that lets you repair damaged items that uses nano paste, you don't never have to deal with that as a defender. But with Enforcers, you have to, so we're separating them. Now, with deployment, there's a lot of skills that the person needs to learn prior to coming to 0-0, particularly how to avoid bubbles, how to use intel channels, how to use logistics properly, things like that, and also how to handle criticism. Adding that directive in there, not so much because of the criticisms we're going to give, but because in 0-0 you fly with mixed fleets quite often, with other alliances or other people who are helping us. You're often interacting with other people, and you often get called a noob or an idiot or people get really on the edge and upset, and they start cursing at each other, and so it can be really, really bad in terms of like being able to handle that. And so we want to make sure that if we deploy somebody, that they're ready for that, that they're the kind of person that can really handle criticisms and can really not mind nasty things said in their address, because they're secure in themselves as a person and as a pilot, that it doesn't really matter to them, and that they can also take it constructively and learn something from that. So if you want to deploy, we'd like you to demonstrate that you can handle criticism. And of course, those types of things we'll be able to see with time, and this way we'll be able to prepare our pilots much better for deployment, which will cut down our losses and also accelerate our growth and improve our combat statistics in the high stress environment, which is really important. For defense, the first directive I'm adding is tackle. 5 tackle ships with this new Rifter, what do I call it? Spiker. That's right. I call it a Spiker because it can catch the pods pretty well. Yeah, we need more tackle, and we never have enough. So I'm thinking for a defense directive, we need to ask people to stash a lot of tackle in Sayona, in our headquarters. So don't enforcers need tackle as well? Yes. Actually, in order to qualify for enforcers, I'm going to ask people to fly either Hyena or a particular type of an interceptor. I'm still working that out. But enforcers will have their own version of tackle, which will be different. So the 2 paths will be different, but the goal will be the same. But basically, right now, you can get sponsorship for those things, but I'm the only person who can do them. So if you guys stash tackle, and all those things will show up on your scholarship module. If you go there, you'll see there's one for criticism, there's one for tackle, and I can sponsor them for you. But those steps are just the beginning. We're going to keep adding more different things that people need to learn for deployment, for defense, and for enforcement. And with time, it will be a great way to basically, first of all, for us to gauge our own strength, to know how many people in which time zone we have capable of doing this or that, but also for your sake, that we basically have a really wonderful way to ensure that you're completely prepared for whatever that you set out to do. Not only for your own fun's sake, but also for the sake of your corp mates, so they know that you have their back in a quite literal way with all the due training and preparation. So for now, just check it out. If you want to be sponsored for those things, get in touch with me, and more people will be able to do that soon. For all the new players, this is all maybe confusing. If you haven't gotten the hang of the sponsorship system yet, just go on our website, register, open an account, and look at the scholarship tab. I think you'll understand pretty quick, because there's like an FAQ section there, and it tells you exactly what to do step by step. It's really easy. So do it early, start it early. We'd like you guys to go through initiation steps quickly, so that we can add those defense, deployment, and enforcement steps as well. Any questions, ask on forums, and we'll be in touch. So yeah, we'll be deploying to 00, so stay put for updates. Alright dudes, talk to you later. Out.